What if everything you know about strength is wrong? What if trying to be strong is exactly what's making you weak? When was the last time strength failed you? You did everything right, trained hard, built power, followed all the rules. Yet something was missing. I know because I've been there. I spent years chasing strength until I discovered something that changed everything. My perspective changed once I learned what Bruce Lee said, strength is an illusion. So what prompted him to arrive at this conclusion, which some quarters don't seem to agree with? What had he been through? Well, back in 1964, Hong Kong, Lee faced a moment that would shape his philosophy about strength. A 300-pound martial arts master challenged him. 20 years of intense training had given these master muscles like steel cables. He could break concrete with his bare hands. The crowd expected an epic showdown of force against force, but something unexpected happened. When the master threw his fastest punch, Lee didn't block it. He didn't counter it, he simply moved. All that raw power hit nothing but air. Lee had discovered something profound. The less force he used, the more effective he became. Lee saw this pattern play out hundreds of times in his teachings. Bodybuilders would visit his school, their massive frames intimidating everyone in sight. These guys could lift incredible weights. Their muscles looked impressive. Yet they struggled to generate enough power to break a simple wooden board because they were trapped in their own tension. Modern science backs up what Lee discovered through experience. Research shows that excessive muscle tension actually blocks speed and power. When you tense up, you create resistance in your own body. Your muscles fight against each other instead of working together. That's why a smaller, relaxed fighter can generate more explosive force than a tenser, stronger opponent. Think about throwing a punch. Most people tense every muscle in their body, thinking it adds power. But watch a professional boxer. Their body stays loose until the moment of impact. They understand what Lee figured out. Power flows through relaxation. But Lee's most famous demonstration would reveal something even more surprising about strength. Lee's famous 1-inch punch demonstration at the Long Beach International Karate Championships left people stunned. Standing just an inch away from his opponent, he sent the man flying backwards with what seemed like a tiny movement. Spectators called it superhuman strength. They were wrong. Many asked for his secret. Everyone wanted to know how someone his size generated such explosive power. The truth shocked them. Lee learned the punch worked better with less muscle tension. The first 100 times he practiced, he failed. Tensing up, forcing power into that single inch of space led nowhere. Success arrived through an opposite approach. Instead of adding more strength, Lee learned to relax completely. He became a channel for power rather than its source. Much like electricity through a wire, the less resistance, the more current flows. Science explains this phenomenon perfectly. Our nervous system works more efficiently in a relaxed state. Muscle fibers fire faster, movements become more coordinated, and power transfers cleanly through the body. Olympic weightlifters understand this principle. Maximum power demands optimal tension, not maximum tension. Lee noticed similar patterns with his students. A heavyweight boxing champion once visited, muscles rippling, fists that could shatter bones. He grabbed Lee's arm, believing his strength would give him control. That grab sealed his defeat before the match began. While he focused on being strong, Lee remained free to move. Lee's next discovery would shatter everything we thought we knew about power. The real magic happened when students stopped trying. After exhausting workouts, too tired to maintain their facade of strength, their movements became pure, effortless, powerful. They accidentally discovered what Lee had been teaching. Empty your mind, become formless, flow like water. This understanding transformed how Lee approached everything. He realized true strength wasn't about conquering others. It centered on conquering yourself. During 6 months of bed rest from a severe back injury, doctors said he might never kick again. In that forced stillness, stripped of physical power, Lee discovered deeper truths about strength. Unable to train physically, he kicked mentally thousands of times. When he finally returned, his kicks were faster and more powerful. Not from added strength, rather from transcending his need for it. Through stillness, he learned that power flows naturally when we stop forcing it. Modern athletic science validates these insights. Research shows tensing unnecessary muscles drains energy and slows movement. A punch doesn't need your whole body tight, just the right muscles activated at the right moment. Bodybuilders might lift massive weights, yet many lack practical power. Their muscles work against each other instead of flowing together. Think about picking up a glass of water. You don't consciously tense each muscle. Your body naturally uses exactly what's needed. Add tension from nervousness or trying too hard, and suddenly that simple movement becomes rigid and awkward. Lee saw this principle everywhere, in fighting, in movement, in life. Fear drives us to grip tighter, stand more rigidly, try controlling everything around us. People call this strength, yet it's panic wearing armor. The more we clutch at power, the more it slips away, like grabbing sand too tightly or trying to hold water in a clenched fist. His most profound insight about strength came from an unexpected source. Your greatest strength can become your biggest prison. Lee learned this watching top martial artists visit his school. Masters with decades of training, champions with flawless techniques. Many struggled with simple movements because their years of accumulated power held them back. People grab life like that boxing champion grabbed Lee's arm, too tight, too tense, too afraid of losing control. We face challenges by armoring up, tensing every muscle, trying to force our way through. Then we wonder why we feel stuck, stiff, limited by the very strength we built to feel free. Look at how people handle pressure, a job interview, a difficult conversation, a crucial moment. Most respond by tensing up, trying to control everything. Their voice gets rigid, their thoughts freeze, their natural flow disappears. All because they're trying to be strong instead of being effective. Lee saw power differently. Watch water meet an obstacle. It doesn't fight, doesn't tense up, doesn't try proving its strength. Water simply finds the natural way through. Sometimes flowing gently, other times crashing powerfully, always adapting without losing its essential nature. Take public speaking. Nervous speakers grip podiums, clench their bodies, force their words. Great speakers stay relaxed, let thoughts flow naturally, and move with their message. Same with artists. Tight, controlled brush strokes versus flowing, relaxed movements. One fights the process, the other flows with it. The final test of Lee's philosophy came from an unexpected challenge. Life constantly tests this truth about strength. When facing challenges, most people tighten their grip, trying to control outcomes. Parents grip their children's futures too tightly. Leaders squeeze their teams with rigid control. Athletes strain under pressure, losing the natural flow that got them there. Lee found these lessons everywhere. Take learning any new skill. Beginners often approach it with tension, gripping golf clubs too tight, pressing piano keys too hard, forcing words in a new language. Progress only comes when they relax, when they stop trying to force results through strength. Studies in performance psychology prove this. Under pressure, the first thing to go is our natural flow. Heart rates jump, muscles tense, breathing gets shallow. We call it choking, the moment when trying too hard blocks our natural abilities. Athletes call it paralysis by analysis. Musicians know it as stage fright, all forms of the same truth. Watch kids learn. They stay relaxed, playful, and natural. They fall, laugh, and try again. No tension about failing, no rigid grip on getting it right. They progress faster than adults because they haven't learned to block themselves with forced strength. Their power flows naturally. Even in business, Lee's insights ring true. Companies that grip control too tightly become rigid, unable to adapt. Leaders who force them will create tension, blocking creativity and natural growth. The strongest businesses flow like water, adapting, moving around obstacles, finding natural paths forward. Now let me show you how to apply this understanding in your own life. Real power doesn't come from building walls of strength. It flows from letting go of what blocks our natural abilities, from releasing the tension that masquerades as power. Start small. Notice where you're gripping life too tightly. That tension in your shoulders while working, the forced smile in uncomfortable situations, the rigid way you approach problems. These aren't signs of strength. They're alarms showing where you're blocking your natural power. Experiment with letting go, not giving up, but releasing unnecessary tension. Feel the difference between forcing a workout and letting your body flow naturally. Notice how conversations improve when you stop trying to control them. See how problems solve themselves when you stop wrestling them into submission. Do you remember the 300-pound master's punch hitting empty air? That's life when you stop meeting force with force. Problems that once seemed massive lose their power when you stop fighting them head-on. Challenges become opportunities when you flow around them instead of armoring up against them. Lee never said to abandon strength. He taught us to recognize when it becomes an illusion, a rigid mask hiding our true power. Like water, we can be gentle or forceful, flexible or powerful, always adapting while staying true to our nature. Next time you feel yourself tensing up, gripping tight, trying to control life through strength, remember, the moment you relax might be the moment your real power starts to flow. Just as Lee discovered in that school back in 1964, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let go of trying to be strong. True power isn't in what you can hold on to. It's in what you can let flow through you. Be water, my friend. Want to learn more about unlocking your natural potential? Hit subscribe and join our journey, exploring life's deepest truths.